Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Bukola.
I just wanted to ensure that everybody can hear me. So, the meeting is about to start now. So, good afternoon once again, our distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and CI members, partners, and participants that are currently here in this webinar today. You're all truly welcome to this amazing gathering of CIA International Fathers Day and men's mental health webinar for 2026. My name is Bukola David, CIA National Organizing Secretary, and I will be moderating today's section. So just a quick one before we get started. Please, I would like to ensure that everyone turn off their microphone when they are not speaking, and when they are to speak, they can turn on the microphone as well as their camera, so as to properly engage with the audience while speaking. And that would also help us to know each other more. And also, if you have a question to ask during any presentation, because we're going to be having a couple of presentations today, you can leave a comment in the chat box or put it down somewhere. And later on, when we get to the questions section, you can raise up your hand using the raised hand icon on Zoom, and you'll be called upon to speak and share. Thank you so much once again for joining, and we look forward to a meaningful and impactful conversation today. So to start officially, I would like to invite our chief convener, SDG Ambassador Wilson Babangida Abuti, founder, chairman, CEO of Community Impact Affinity, to give us our opening remarks. Sir, you're warmly welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, our able moderator, Ms. Bukola. We appreciate you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are connecting from. My name is Wilson Babangida Aboti. I'm an SDG ambassador and the convener of this webinar. Yes, happy Father's Day to all of us, the fathers here and the potential fathers to be. So we wish all a happy Father's Day 2026. Well, the reason we are convening this webinar is simple, and it's in commemoration of the International what's it called Father's Day 2026, and also to share more awareness and to share more dialogue, to have a dialogue as regards fathers' mental health. That's men's mental health rather, as it relates to society, as it relates to family, and as it relates to workplaces. So you're all welcome to this webinar, and I'm optimistic we're going to have a very good interactive segment where we're going to have participants share presentations and keynotes, to each and every one of us. And I'm certain that we're not going to go back the way we came when it comes to understanding issues that has to do with men's mental health. Once again, thank you. So yeah, without further ado, the reason we are organizing this webinar is in complete alignment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 3, Goal 3, that promotes good health and well-being. So we understand that fact, and it's part of what CIA does, part of the 8 goals CIA promotes, SDG 3, hence why we are doing what we are doing today. So today, when we look at the society that we live in, the workplaces that we work, and we also look at the family settings that we all live within, it is important for the head, the father figure in that family or in that society, or the leader in that workplace to be mentally healthy in order to be productive. So it is a great pleasure to welcome you once again, and it's important this important webinar that is being organized by CIA. I'm deeply grateful to each and every one of you for taking your time, despite your busy schedule, to engage in this conversation, which is timely, as you all know, and to gather on the theme that says breaking the silence, prioritizing men's health in families, workplace, and society, like I earlier said. So this theme is more than a topic for discussion. It is a call to action. For generations, societies have often been taught that men should be strong, men should be resilient, and men should be self-reliant. While these qualities are admirable, they have sometimes come to a great cost. Many men have been conditioned to suppress emotions, hide vulnerability, as well as carry life burdens in silence. We have had phrases such as be a man, men don't cry, you know, go fix your issues like a man, handle it yourself. The list is endless. So, but today, what we are doing, unfortunately, these societal expectations have created an environment where many men struggle silently, with stress, anxiety, depression, trauma, loneliness, financial pressures, family responsibilities, and emotional pains. Many men suffer not because help is unavailable, but because they have been made to believe that seeking help is a sign of weakness. That is what we are trying to correct in CIA. Today we challenge that narrative. The reality is that mental health is not a gender issue; it is a human issue. A mentally healthy father raises healthy children. You agree with me? A mentally healthy husband builds a stronger family. You agree with me? A mentally healthy employee contribute more effectively in the workplace. You will agree with me on that as well. A mentally healthy leader makes a better decisions rather. And a mentally healthy society is ultimately a more peaceful and productive society. As we celebrate Father's Day, we must also acknowledge the enormous responsibility that fathers and men carry on a daily. Men are often expected to provide, they are expected to protect, they are expected to lead, they are expected to remain strong in the face of adversity. Yet, very rarely do we pause to ask certain questions such as, how are the men doing? Who supports the man who supports everyone else? Who listens to men when they are struggling? These are important questions that demand honest answers. Across the world, statistics continue to show alarming rates of depression, substance abuse, emotional isolation, and suicide among men. Behind many of these statistics are fathers, brothers, husbands, sons, colleagues, friends, and who struggle often remain unseen. This is why conversations like this are very, very critical and important. Today is about creating safe spaces. Today is about encouraging openness. Today is about promoting awareness. Today is about reminding every man that seeking support is not weakness, it's wisdom. Breaking the silence begins when we normalize conversation about emotional well-being. It begins when families create environment where men can speak freely without fear of judgment. It begins when workplaces recognizes the employees' well-being, include mental well-being. It begins when communities encourage compassion rather than stigma. It begins when men themselves understand that asking for help is a courageous act. As someone deeply committed to sustainable development, peace building, and human well-being, I strongly believe that mental health is connected to sustainable development goals, particularly as the three, like I earlier mentioned, on good health and well-being. A society cannot achieve sustainable development if significant portion of that population is suffering in silence. Likewise, families cannot strive in an emotional well-being, cannot strive if the emotional well-being of the father and men are neglected. Today's webinar serves as both awareness platform and an opportunity to identify practical solutions. I encourage all participants, all speakers, all stakeholders to ask questions, share experience where appropriate, and most importantly, take away lessons that can positively impact your lives and communities. To our esteemed speakers and panelists, thank you for leading your expertise and voices to the critical cause. We look forward to learning from the insights and recommendations. To every man joining us today, please remember this: you do not have to carry the burden alone. Your mental health matters, your wellness matters, your voice matters, and your life matters. As we proceed with this webinar, let us commit ourselves to building families, workplaces, and societies where men feel supported, valued, understood, and empowered to seek help whenever they need it. Together, let's break the silence. Together, let us challenge the stigma. Together, let us prioritize men's health. Thank you for your attention and thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir, for that amazing opening remark and for setting the tone for today's conversation. We will now move to our first keynote speech, which is going to be delivered by ASP Humphrey Aye, and he will be speaking to us on mental health, emotional resilience, and the importance of breaking the silence. Sir, please kindly take the floor.
Able moderator, I just received a message. I've been in talk with Ambassador Humphrey. He told me he's on transit and he will join when he can. So we might have to excuse him for now. I don't know which other speaker is available.
Okay, is Mrs. Fatima Abubakar on the floor?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, but so I think we'll proceed to our first expert presentation. Sorry, Ma, for bringing you up. Let me introduce Mrs. Fatima Abubakar, senior psychologist and mental health expert and CIA professional member from Qatar, to make her presentation. Can you take the floor?
Thank you for joining us, Ma.
You're welcome, sir. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Happy Father's Day to all of you. Today, I want you to all know that we have you at heart. We love you. We have seen how resilient you are and how far you have carried all the burden alone. We all know that from the concept of masculinity, this has been long shaped by culture, by family system, by religion and social expectations in many societies in Africa and in the whole world. Men are raised to appear strong, emotionally controlled, independent and protective. Yet beneath these strengths, that masculinity, that strong man, that angry person, many men carry that vulnerabilities from childhood experiences, emotional deprivation, fear of failure, and unresolved psychological conflicts. So in this case, psychoanalysis helps us to really understand that all men can appear emotionally powerful on the outside while silently struggling within. So we have seen that strength, and in so many theories, strength is not simply physical power or emotional silence. True psychological strength refers to the ability to regulate emotions, to tolerate pain, maintain relationships, face responsibility, and remain emotionally balanced under stress. A strong man psychologically understands his emotions without being controlled by them. They appear to be highly emotionally intelligent. They can lead without oppression. They accept vulnerability without shame. They maintain emotional discipline and handle rejection, disappointment, and uncertainty maturely. So they many times protect others while also protecting their own mental well-being. They always consider people, and that is why I generalize it into a highly emotional intelligence man. However, many boys right from like upbringing are not taught emotional intelligence during upbringing. Instead, they are taught men not to cry, like they have to silence their emotions. Weakens his shameful, like how will I put this? Like they have to they taught them how to silence their cry, to wipe away their tears, either in silence or in public. They just have to appear very, very masculine. So every man must always endure silence because of what we mentioned from the concept, that is cultural background, family, and so on. So over time, these messages become deeply internalized and shape adult personality structures. So in so many explanations, right from childhood, according to so many disciplines, in early childhood, every man experiences forms of unconscious mind. A boy who grows up in an emotionally harsh environment may develop on survival behaviors rather than healthy emotional operations and expressions. Example in so many times I can put it into harsh fathers, emotional neglect, absent fathers, overly critical parenting, exposure to violence or humiliations, lack of affection and validation. The child unconsciously, learns if I show emotions, I will be rejected. As adults, such men may appear strong externally, but internally struggling with fear of intimacy, fear of attachment, emotional suppression, anger issues, anxiety, emotional numbness, and difficulty trusting others. Sorry, they are calling for prayer, so my attention is kind of divided. Can I please
Sorry,
take 2 minutes to
sorry,
answer this prayer?
sorry.
Just 1 minute, sorry, not.
Okay.
All right. So moderator, I think while she's answering to be back in a minute, we can prep up who speaks next after her, you know, and what agenda. You can also share with us the agenda, the flow of the conversation within the chat box so that participants can as well, be abreast.
Coming next would be Dr. Timothy Adeniran. Please, Dr. Timothy, are you currently here?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good to
So
have you,
you,
Ambassador, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
so you come next after Dr. Fatima.
So sorry, please forgive me. So, childhood experiences shape adult personality through unconscious conflict. Like so many boys develop the identity through relationship with parents, like internalized discipline, emotional attachment and separation, social expectations of masculinity. If emotional development is interrupted, men may unconsciously develop defense mechanisms such as defense um repression, hiding painful emotions deep inside, projection, accusing others of feeling they themselves carry, like they see others as they view themselves. They always have the same perception of who they are to people. Displacement, transferring anger to weaker targets. They always want to transfer anger and fault people for their wrongdoings, denial, refusing emotional reality, rejection formation, acting overly tough to hide insecurity. So, in so many times, this explains why some men become emotionally distant, like fighting with so many emotional attachments, including dismissal attachment, avoidance, and so many others, struggle with communication. They find it so hard to communicate because they might feel as if they're not going to be seen, they're not going to be heard, they're not going to be loved or accepted for who they are. Struggle with the pains that they always carry in their mind and never really wanted to say it out to anybody. Fear appearing weak. Then they also overcompensate with aggression or control. Then the third, like the strong man that really marks it up, you see many men wear psychological marks created by societal expectations. So this will describe the false of appears, like the false of self-appearance. Let me put it that way, like confidence, unbreakable, emotionally detached, dominant, and hyper independent. But deep inside, these men may exist to fear of abandonment, childhood loneliness, shame, insecurity, fear of failure, unhealed trauma. A man may become highly successful externally while emotionally exhausted internally. So, in all, let me just summarize everything. Men really, really want to feel safe by expressing their emotions safely. It depends on how women understand and comprehend such. They build different relationships, but only when they feel safe and love without judgment. They also want to seek help when necessary. They also want to heal from the trauma they are battling with. And they always want to develop the emotional intelligence and always want to say, I am struggling without losing their dignity to demonstrate its emotion, the emotional maturity. They always want to feel the true masculine strength that is emotionally balanced and not emotionally suppression. So we all have to understand that men are really, really babies from the inside. It's just the society, the upbringing, the stages of every child development that they were not being seen, had love, and they so many times did not grow up with that love and that acceptance. Then it caused them so much pain because you can see. Let me just analyze this. You can find in so many times, um, siblings will be fighting, and then the parents will always tell the boy child that he shouldn't engage in such acts because they made the girl child to feel so much weak and then give the whole power and the whole masculinity to the boy right from his life, right from his early stage of life. So they are always grooming his mind to be vulnerable and at the same time to understand that he doesn't have to express his emotions because he is a man and he have to grow up understanding the pattern of accepting the whole yeah, God, sorry. I had so many sessions today. Wallahi, I'm just trying to pass this. I pray that I'm on the right track. So um he has to, like, they have already shifted his mind from being great, like from being hard, understood and loved in the family to another level of you have to do it yourself. You are a man. You have to find your ways. You have to grow up, understand the pattern of life without anyone putting you through. Yes, we made these men feel this way. And when we get married to them, we complain about so many things instead of accepting them, understanding them, loving them. Like when a man speaks, if a woman is highly emotionally intelligent, she can pick from his words when he's angry, when he's not balanced, and when he's trying to express his emotions. There are so many ways to communicate to men to get through to them, because like we said, the masculinity is just in the appearance, but the true inner feelings of every man is so soft. It depends on how we understood them. Like I said earlier, we have so many times in so many ways wanting to love you, understand you, man, and bring you into the reality of what love looks like. But it is just a barrier of communication. I wish every man will understand the pattern of how to navigate through these pains and um these trials of life, to becoming a man that he should be, to becoming a man that he has to be, to taking the responsibility of trying to find the pattern of his ways so that he can find the true love every man wanted to give to him, and to that very love he wanted to have within the family cycle. Every man is special. This life has to be with men hand in hand, soul to soul, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, physically. You are the leaders. We have understood that. Today, I want to tell you so in so many words that you are loved, understood, and we have in so many ways and in so many forms regretted why society have choose to give you so much, and or like to give you so much responsibility just for you to pay back to the community or to the society. So we have known how heavy it is and how hard it has been for you. From Fatima and to all the men in the world, to all the men listening, I really want to tell you today that you are special and we love and accept you. And I wish you so many happy and so many happy and beautiful years of your life in harmony, peace, tranquility, and prosperity, in good health also. So have a blessed day. Bye to you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for that insightful and practical presentation. You have really helped us to better understand how important it is to start supporting men from the early stage of their life, giving open communication, professional help where necessary as early as possible. So thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate that. At this point, we will now receive the next expert, which is Dr. Timothy Adediran, Director General, International Forum for Peace and Diplomacy. Sir, please, can you take the floor?
Thank you so much. Well, let me make a little bit correction. My surname is Adeniro. Yes, thank you. I want to say a big thank you to everyone, especially the whole of CIA, for organizing such a timely thing. You see, most cases where we get to see where they talk about mental health for men are in professional gatherings or in churches. So, as an organization, bringing up a forum where people can have conversations about these things that affect our daily life is a real thumbs up. So I must commend everyone, especially Ambassador Wilson. Thank you. So in order not to, because personally, I myself, I'm actually rushing out, but let me just prep up something. So we talk about mental health, about men, not way too much as we should. You know, most cases, not to sound biased, but in most cases, once you go to most places, what you hear them talk about is women, women, women. But it feels like, in fact, you hear girl, child, but it feels like everybody gets to forget the boy gets to forget the men. And these are amazing things that we see once we see opportunities like this comes up. So thank you so much once more for having me. So I'll just run through basically, I just pointed out some points, but I might not be able to run it through. The first one is as fathers as pillar of strong communities. So you see, there's no way that the community can stand solid without the man in the whole picture, either in the family, in a business, or in an organization. It is very important that men hold it down and actually add positive value to it. So, for men in the house, I believe we have people who are even younger, like myself, and older. It's just, this is more like a call for us to get in touch with each other. You understand? We can't be that pillar that the community wants us to be when we don't really come in touch with each other. You might feel your safe space. You know, there's this saying, some people actually say that I'm a one-man mopo. You hear people say that a lot, but trust me, the generation we are right now, the whole structure of life itself, especially those of us that are from Africa, you need to know that you need support, strong support hold that you could relate with people, you understand, communicate with people. So as men, please don't see it as anything bad when you need help and you could talk to somebody. It's more like an just free. But the thing again, it's this, we have to also understand that in most cases, not everything that affects us that we talk about, and it is not that easy. But as men, it is always good to have supports holds. It could be maybe in your church, your mosques, even in little societal communities that we engage ourselves in. But it is very important. So if we're looking at these in the world level, especially when it comes to maybe the United Nations, or if we look at particularly SDG 3, talking about good health and well-being, we need to prioritize that with what we eat. Very, very important, because you see these days, many people, once they start getting to 40, they start having decline in health because they've been so busy with life, they've been so busy with work, trying to make sure the kids are okay, the family is okay. But to be honest, there's something I always tell a friend of mine, using him as a reference. He's married, he has kids, and whenever he tries to struggle a lot, he always say, my kids, my kids. And I'll just tell him plain up, like, if anything should happen to you today as a man, all of these people would definitely balance, which is what would happen. But as men, we need to look into a situation where we prioritize our health, prioritize our well-being from what we eat, people we even sit out with in most cases. Because when we talk about mental health, it goes far beyond just the physical. It is what you intake into your mind, always what you tell yourself, what you want to believe. So we need to have support hold from everything I've said. I think I should just resound that much, because I myself personally, I have a couple of groups that I'm engaged in that are like support hold, that I have people I learn from, they are mentors. So these are things that we need as men. You can't escape it. You can't, let me just make it plain, you practically can't do it on your own. So you need people. Most time, the people you need might not even be your immediate family. It might not be your wife. It might not be your kids. It might be just people around. So you must understand and you must open up to it. Because you see, most time it's hard for us to even tell our fellow. You see, we call ourselves best friend as guys. Most time, my guy, my bro, and we have this common saying of saying, "I did for you, I did with you." But in most cases, once we're going through real life challenges, you understand, we can't even talk to people. Because why? Not like people are not even ready to listen to us. We've created that whole fence around ourselves. And it's quite understandable in a society these days that if you try to be vulnerable, you don't even know you're being vulnerable to. The person you might see as a friend might really not take you as one. So in all, I think we still need to pray to God to guide us to people who really care about us, because this is just having men conversation. You understand? We must have people that we can run to not for financial. It doesn't even necessarily has to be financial aid, because you see, in our generation right now, once you talk about have people you can run to, everybody mind automatically goes to financial support. So once you approach your fellow men, most time, I would like us to be friends. I would like, immediately it goes to their mind that maybe another liability. But let's try as men to open our hands to each other, that we feel very comfortable with ourselves, that we could tell ourselves, my bro, this is what's happened today. I need somebody to just walk me through. This is what happened. So please, we must prioritize supporthood, talk to people that we believe in. So now, the next one, sharply raising the next generation of community leaders. So we must take that as a forward thing, far beyond our little family or far into our extended family. We must understand that as men, we are community leaders. It's a God-given mandate. You understand? It is not something that we must shy away. God has given, even from the Bible, those of us that are Christian, he said, let us make man in our own image. So this is real life thing. We are community leaders. We can't shy away from that fact. And it still get tied to you having people that you can grow with. Education, those of us that stay in school, your education, connect with people that you can. Those who are in the professional life, you will definitely see people who are better than you. But the moment you learn to connect with them, learn with them, we grow. So another one, the roles of father in promoting peace and social cohesion. Looking at what's happening, let me use Nigeria in case we have people who are not Nigerians on this chat. Let me use Nigeria as a case study. At this point in time right now, our nation is going through a very strategic point, a very dial point, that we see people like there's high use of drug abuse, there's terrorism, there's extremism, there's conflict. Now, people who orchestrate this crime, they have family. People who do all of these things, they have family. But do we now say their fathers have failed? No. But we must still remind ourselves that we are champions of peace and social cohesion. Whatsoever we do in our community, we are in charge. So from the people we see on our street, just that little boy in our community that needs guidance, we must take it upon ourselves to help them. Just that little child, a girl that needs guidance, that needs to know what life has been, we must help them get that focus in life. So lastly, let me just share this one: community responsibility beyond the home. Now, I think one thing that we've been feeling in our society has been that everybody these days just look into their immediate family. In fact, when you see people pray, when you see people talk about things, they just care about my son, my child. But the moment the next person's child goes bad, you can't escape it. It's definitely coming to your own child. So I urge us as men today, as we chase after our mental health, as we chase after our well-being, as we chase even after our financial stability, because this particular financial stability has been one thing that has actually led many of us astray, led many people astray. As we chase all of these things that makes our life better, we must also remember that our responsibility goes far beyond just our children. We must also remember that our responsibility goes far beyond our brothers and sisters. We must take it upon ourselves that we are nation builders, we are community builders. So today I urge us all, if there's anything you would take from what I've said, it should be, please, as men, create support group. Very important. You might not have one, start one. It might just be you and three of your other bros, you and three other, but what happens there is checking out for each other. Somebody won a contract today, he needs to be happy, send him word of encouragement. Somebody lose a contract today, he needs to be happy, send him word of encouragement. And as we grow in all of these things, it looks basics, but it is something that once we've learned to do it, we automatically start opening up to ourselves. If my brother comes through for me today, the moment I'm fine tomorrow, I would come through for him. So that's how we start to create our mental health. It is not magic. It is not even a mirage. It is something that is possible. So I urge us today, my brother, my uncle, my daddy, my friend, and all of us as men, even as the ladies that are here today, let's take it upon ourselves. Let's have support groups, join support group, create support group. It could be strictly for men, it could be strictly for ladies, but let's have something that we can fall back to the day that the world cries on us. Let's have something that we can fall back to the day that the world smile on us. So thank you so much for having me. And I just pray all of these things gets to our hearts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much for the enriching presentation and the contribution, as well as what you shared about creating a support system, even if it's one or two people. I think that's one massive takeaway that everyone should definitely take away from your presentation today. We will now move on to the third expert presentation today. I would like to invite Ambassador Osborne Otuago, gender advocate and deputy chairman, Southeast Nigeria CIA International Working Committee, to make his presentation.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
I want to greet each and every one of us for being here today and for giving me this opportunity and this platform to talk on prioritizing men's mental health in families, workplace, and our society. Before I dive into that, I want to say happy international happy Father's Day for all men in this platform. Happy Father's Day to all men in this platform.
No, Tomiwa,
Can you hear me?
Paul.
Sorry, please.
Steve.
Everyone kindly ensure their mic is
I will
turned.
Courage.
Mr. Weto.
Hi, Jennifer. Please, could you help us mute Weto JS? Thank you, please. Sorry,
Okay.
Ambassador, please, you can go on, sir.
Okay, can I go on?
Yes, sir. So sorry about that, sir.
All right. So as we celebrate our Father's Day today, I celebrate every man in this platform for this very day. So yes, my system is down. I don't know if Buki can help me project the slide. We can, so I can run through the slide together.
Just a minute.
At the same time, today I equally celebrating my 18 years in marriage with my wife today. Even though she's not close to me right now, we are supposed to continue being on our honeymoon for the 18th years.
Oh, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so the aim of this teaching today was to create awareness on men's mental health or men's mental health challenges. 2, to reduce stigma associated with seeking support. 3, promote practical strategies for emotional well-being. The past 2 speakers on this subject have touched vertically these 3 areas. So what I'm to do is just to run through what they've just said, okay? All right. So what is mental health all the way? We'll be talking about mental health. Yes, our society, our culture, our family have programmed men to be a burden bearer and all this. So 1, we look at mental health from the way we think. From the way we think, our ability to solve problems, make decisions, learn, and remember. That is 1. 2, to feel. How do we feel? This talks about our emotion, our joy, our sadness, our anger, and how we manage this process. Looking at the society we find ourselves. Then 3, say how you act, how you cope with this stress, relate to others, and make choices. So this doesn't mean that we are always happy or never stressed. men were always, you don't just say that because being a man, they don't to be stressed or you don't to be have look all this, because the way set up everything have made men the way we think. Even in family, what they see is a burden bearer. Bring money, bring money, bring money. Their wife is dragging from this side, their child is dragging from the other side too. So all this thing weighs down on a man, how he thinks, how he reasons, how he feels, and how he's being able to manage all this process. So men's mental health. So it's a men's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It's about giving men permission to be human. Are we human? When I've been opportunity to go on different workshops and training, what we discuss is about women. Why is it all about women? Because in any given opportunity, in any slightest thing, we see a woman voicing out. So men will hardly voice out. That is where our problem starts. How we feel, how we struggle about this thing, and our healing process towards it without shame. Now, for you to come out and start to tell your wife, tell a friend of a friend that you have a problem with your wife, or your wife beats you, or within your environment, they see you as a man crying. You know, most people don't believe that men cry. Yes, we are human, so we do cry. We shed tears. And when you shed that tears, it helps you. It brings a relief to you. Last I was in a radio program discussing, and one of our resource persons in that radio program was trying to share this experience. That how will you feel to come and tell your friend where you drink about that you have a problem with your wife, and unfortunately your wife beats you up? Is it possible for you to say your mind that your wife beats you up? The guy was like, no, I can't do that. How the society will look at you, that you're not a man enough. So that word, you're not a man enough, or you're just being a woman rapper. So that's all those slogans weigh down a man psychologically. So we'll talk about the emotion, we talk about the social, we talk about the psychological aspect of it entirely. How you handle all this process, how the society looks at you as a man, how you as a being looks at your emotional well-being, and the psychology, the psychological aspect of it. So this matters so much on the well-being of a man when we talk about men's mental health. Next, say how men's mental health often shows up. So here we are looking at how this often shows up. So men are just as likely to express depression, anxiety, and trauma as every other person. As every other person, women pass this through this process, but as a man, when we pass this process, how do we handle it? So instead of feeling sad, if a man, instead of being sad, anger, irritability, risk-taking, overworking, they find a way of engaging themselves excessively in all these things. This is a way of them managing all their stress. This is a way of managing their stress. Instead of talking, instead of talking, voicing out their anger, voicing out how they feel about things, they went into withdrawal. Some do shut down. So throw themselves into work or sports or drink. This is very common with men in our Southeast. Instead of them speaking up, instead of ending up in a beer parlor where they drink themselves to stupor most times. Why? They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know who to talk to. So let's look at the physical symptoms about it. What does this thing do to our body system? Sometimes, in fact, most of when you're stressed mentally, headaches comes in there, fatigue comes in there. You have sleep disorders, sleep problem. You hardly sleep. You go to bed by 10 o'clock. You wake up by 2 o'clock. Some their own can be stomach issues. And when you go for tests, they feel like you are being sick. And when you go for tests, you end up the doctor said there's nothing wrong with you. You are fine. But inwardly, within you, inside you, that man is dying silently or no just reason, because doesn't know how to manage that stress. Stress is weighing on this man. Holding on is another issue for a man. in our mental health, holding on a very long time. So if you look at the burnout and the breakdown, the stress doesn't disappear. It builds up gradually. You see some men from 40, 30, from 40 is even far. The man is already down with BP issue because of build up stress in him. Okay, depression and anxiety try to suppress his emotion just to make the family fine. Some people try to suppress what they feel, try to suppress their anger, try to suppress what they would have easily just to voice out and say, this is how I feel. They try to suppress it. So men who hold up are at high risk of depression and often doesn't recognize it until it's severe. So when we try to hold up these challenges, keep building up in our system, we don't know who to talk to. Yes, we do understand that I said today, if I may use that word Thursday, because why I use that word Thursday, you don't know who to relate to, and that person will not speak about you outside. You don't know who to relate to, and that person, how the person goes about it is another thing. So it now makes men to even hold on to their problems, and they die with it gradually. They die with it slowly. Okay, so thoughts and loops, the minds keep replaying the events that took place in your home or in your office or in the community, what they said to you. Could you imagine Mr. Keke addressing me as this? It has happened over an hour ago, but even at that, your mind is still replaying it. Your mind is still replaying it again. So playing back all those things back to you. All right. So our next slide, please. So the big factor there. So the big factor there, now our site now looks at it. By the time you start to speak up, they say, is this person, are you man enough? We do hear this word, words from time to time. It's not man enough. This one, if it's my place, say, meaning, are you sure you're a man? So those words are what brings that a man's morale down even more. Saying, try to tell them that you're not man enough to handle issues. So toughen it up. All this messaging, massaging many men grow up, hearing they shouldn't show weakness or cry or burden others. So being a man, you cannot share your feeling with anybody. You cannot discuss your problem with a fellow friend or a family member. So by so you're holding everything on you. It could be financial stress, yes. If it's financial stress, the family should be able to understand, yes, that you're passing through a financial stress and be a support to you, be a support system to you. Your working place, your church, your community. But rather they look at, you're a man, now go and hustle, go and make money. You should be able to take care of your family. And in our home, most wives don't even support their husband. You see in a family, the man is working as a federal staff, or the woman, maybe the woman is any higher than the man. But even at that, he still looks up to the man to carry the burden of every financial problem. She's any higher than the man, yes. Being a support to the man, no. Say the money is our money. The man's money is our money. Why her own money is her own money. And the man is dying gradually and silently. The stigma attached to it, fear of being judged. Most times you are being afraid. What would the society say about me? That I'm not able to handle my family very well. I'm not able to manage my family well, manage my wife and others. So the stigma to even speak out is there for us as men. Okay. Now the result, men are less likely to seek help early, and this creates through for suicide rates in our society today. When you look at suicide rates in our society today, you can see it's high majorly on men. Why? Look at even our present the situation of our country today even creates more room for that. It creates more room for that. Men hold more because of the depression they find themselves. They don't know who to speak to. They don't know where to go. Most times you go to church, or must, what the clergy or the man will tell you, pray hard. Go and talk to God in prayer. To me, most people say, yes, I'm a Christian. But I say most times prayer does not solve everything. There are problems you as a human need to help, need to support the person come out from, not go and pray. Okay? So there are times for prayer, yes. Prayer helps and brings relief to us. But at the same time, we will come to them to seek advice, to seek counsel, or seek financial support.
So sorry, my network logged me out. I'm trying to get the document back online.
Okay, so what good mental health looks like for men? What does it look for men? Good mental health. It is not about being emotionless or hyper independent. It's about having outlets for stress that don't damage you. Talking to someone, moving your body, creating rest, knowing the difference between solitude and isolation. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Isolation is that when on your own, you decide to just pull out among society, just keep to yourself. Let me just be on my own. I don't want to trouble anybody. And you're dying quietly. So this is not a way to help yourself. So being able to name what you are feeling, call it a name, talk about it, having relationships where you don't have to perform much. These relationships, they will help you to overcome these challenges. Then breaking the silence. How do you break the silence? Talk to someone, person you trust. Yes, this is where we find it more difficult. Who do we trust? Who is that person I can talk to that will not take your matter to outside? That's where we always have problems. But even at that, we should have someone that you can trust and to talk to discuss a problem. Okay. Sometimes at least next system move exercise, can go for an exercise your body. Look for any exercise you can do to get relief. Shake your basics. Your sleep, your alcohol intake, your screen time. How long do you stay watching telly, be on phone, which is the ending today? You see, most of all can spend hours on our screen, chatting, doing TikTok, or be on Facebook or Instagram, or that. So all this matters much to us. Even if you have to drink, mind the quantity you consume. Refrain from help-seeking therapy. You can look for a support group. The past two speakers have discussed about it, about this support group. Support group helps so much when being stressed. When you have a very good support group, like the last speaker said, at least one or two support groups can help you to address these issues. When you talk to them, even a doctor that seek for a doctor counsel, discuss your issue, could be maybe the challenge you're passing through could be on health issue. We look for a doctor that can help you on that. Can be a support group or gym. Go and exercise your body instead of sitting idle, meditating on yourself, isolating yourself from a entire group. Look for it and to help you out. Then taking steps. Good. Taking steps. Say early is easier. When you identify you have a problem, it's easier at the early stage. Look for talking when it's manageable. When the issue is manageable, look for a way or somewhere to discuss about it at that early stage. It brings faster relief and help in that way. But when you wait for a very long time, that waiting period, it makes it more harder. And by so doing, depression, anxiety, stress gets into you. Nothing gets into you. Then when it delays, it says seeking help is strength. Let me refer on this. It says seeking help is strength. When we seek help early, it helps us. It takes more courage to say, I need a support. I believe someone will say yes to this. It takes more courage for you as a man to say, I need a support. It's not easy for a man to walk up to you and say, please, I need a support. Please, if you are available, give that man that support he needs at that moment, because it takes him more courage to even walk up to you and voice out his feeling. Then what hurts about the next slide? What hurts? Say jokes. Most times we play some jokes that we don't know how these jokes impact on us. Man up. We do use a man up. Everyone okay. In Igbo they say everyone okay. Man up. Yeah. Or if anything happens, you just be shivering. You're a man. So just man up and move on. Then the rewarding system. Only overwork. Rewarding only overwork. This happens in our place of work when we only reward for overwork. So punishing vulnerability and barter. So this equally affects us. It brings the shutdown, serious conversation when we are faced with this. Then the media too, most times help to escalate all these issues. How they project men with the kind of words they use when addressing men. This makes men to struggle more. Yes, we know we are the head of the family, does not mean the man should sacrifice himself for being the head of the family. The wife should understand when the husband is down and be a support system. When you have a good wife, I tell you, if you are to live 80 years, God will add additional 30 years to you. Why? Because your wife is there for you. He's your number one support system. He knows when you are down, being sensitive to your issues, and knows how to come in and address it. What helps?
Sorry, Mr. Nasiruddin, could you kindly turn off your mic?
So what helps? Do I go on?
Just let us meet him. Okay, you can go on, sir.
All right, thank you. So prioritizing men's mental health means creating space where men don't have to choose between being a man and being well. Creating space. Model it. Being a father, uncle, brother. We need to talk openly about stress. We need to talk openly about our mistakes or needs. And also help our boys to understand this feeling that being a boy does not mean you should not cry. That being a boy does not mean you should not seek help. That being a boy or a man does not mean you don't have a need. You don't need to reach out when you have a need. Ask better questions. Instead of how are you, we should rephrase it to find another way of asking the person how do you feel about this issue. The person should be able to talk about it easily. The next is train managers. Teach them to spot signs. Most times men die silently because they don't know how to address it. But when you train our children, not only boys, because I talk about gender, but not only boys. When you train your female child, you can train the male child to identify signs. With these signs, you can spot when the person is being depressed, when the person is having challenges, and that will help you to come in and support that person at that moment. If before you know, the person going through depression and suicide are ways ahead. Offer real resource. Employee assistance program only work if men know they are confidential and would hurt their job aspects. Promote them actively. So this relates about our working place. In our working place, how do you react? How do the HR, the manager, how do they look at your situation? Most times you are depressed, most of you are having an issue, and by so doing, it's equally affecting the job you are doing. So if the HR is sensitive enough that they find all these things, he will know where and when to come in and know how to address it. It could be financial. You can easily apply, do a short-term loan application to the organization, and they should, once they provide it, and I bet you with that, they will do more in their workplace. Our schools and community should equally teach our younger ones, our boys, about emotional skills. It will help them a long way. After being yes, we know our curriculum talks about mathematics, English, and all that, but when they have this emotional skill, it will help them in their lifestyle and the way they manage their family. Thank you so much on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador Osborne. That's quite a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Moderator, please, over to you, ma. Hello, Bukola, are you here? Okay, so I think Buki is logged out. I don't know if she's there. So we what an interactive section we are having. What a resourceful presentation we are having from all the presenters and keynotes. We are really, really, really grateful for your time and your input on this subject matter. We can see how critical it is, and issues that has to do with health and well-being and life is critical in any human endeavors. So we thank you so much for your time and your experts presentations. We plead that you share with us your presentation for reference sake, and for those who are not able to join us, they can as well read out and be blessed. So thank you all. While we wait for Bukola, please notify us when you're up. I don't know if she's up. So, but from our agenda, we are supposed to have one speaker before we go into interactive session where other participants can also put in inputs. I'm sure a lot of us that are here also have one or two inputs. I can see the chat box is already coming up. You know, people are submitting their own opinions and also their own feel and questions. So feel free to keep the conversation going. The last speaker, unfortunately, is on transit. Ambassador Humphrey, some of you know him, the police officer in CIA community, who was supposed to also be part of the keynote presenters, to say, but unfortunately, he's caught up in between transit and not being able to attend this. So, but we thank him for reaching out to the Secretariat to notify us on time. So that being said, we'll go into the next agenda, which is the interactive segment, where everyone is allowed to key in. If you need to talk at this point, just raise your hand and I will give you the mic, so you can also share with us more insight that will really guide and help us in becoming mentally fit, especially for the men. Please, so it's time for interactive session before we take the question and answer segment. Time for input from known designated speakers. If you want to contribute to the subject matter so far, or if you have an input, if you have a recommendation, if you want us to hear from you, please feel free to raise your hand and I will give you the mic. Okay, Dr. Azubike, sir, please, you are being muted. Jennifer, please, can you? Okay, thank you. You are welcome, Dr. Azubike,
yeah.
Please.
Thank you very much, my CEO. I think I enjoyed this enlightening discussion on men's mental health. It is unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this conundrum. The man, as a matter of fact, will continue to be man, and we are not going to question nature. It is a burden that has been bestowed on us. But some takeaways from the discourse here is that we should open up. When problems are discussed, I think solutions are gradually being profiled. But to remove that man from man may be a difficult thing because it comes from nature. From the onset, from our home, we were told what a man should do and what a man shouldn't do. And you cannot go beyond that. Nature has made it so. God has wired man to be that man. For instance, if you remember the epic novel by Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, it was just becoming a man that made Okonkwo to commit suicide. It was also becoming a man that made Unoka, his father, to be seen as a worthless fellow. So it is natural. Today, let me ask this question. Today is Men's International Day. How many amongst us men were treated specially today by our spouses? I'm not, making or stressing the matter, but I think most of us, our women may not even have remembered that today is Men's International Day to celebrate us. So the man has been boxed to a corner. He has been intimidated. And to extricate himself from that corner is like going against natural justice. But the disease is being suffered by the man. It is only the man that knows how to solve his problem. It's like going to a doctor and telling the doctor that you're stressed, and the doctor, after diagnosis, tells you that you shouldn't be carrying enough burden. At the end of the day, he gives you his charges to pay. Is those charges not part of the burden? If he wanted to help you run away from the burden, he shouldn't have charged you to pay. Therefore, so the issues of man and his mental health is from the home, it's from cradle. In workplaces, it may be very, very sketchy, but it is from the home, it is from our mothers. Your little sister or older sister will beat you and they will tell you, don't cry, you're a man. Yes, you're a man, and you continue to be man. So we are men. Until nature says otherwise, we will continue to bear our burden, but with moderation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Buki, you're welcome, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. Sorry, everyone. My network threw me out again. So sorry. Thank you so much, sir, for that insight. That was an amazing one. And that's something that we mothers have to take accountability for and ensure that our male child is taught well. And they should know that they can share emotions. Mr. David, yes, you can on your mic and speak, sir. Mr. David Adebanjo.
All right. Good evening, please. Am I audible?
Good evening, sir. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Thank you. First off, I want to appreciate everyone. I want to appreciate the committee that came up with this. We don't get to see this often. Somebody was saying that, why is it that a woman would have like 3-4 celebrations in a year and a man will just have only one, and that one, it will be like it's not significant. Anyways, just like the other person has said, it is where we have found ourselves as men, but then I'm happy that we are getting better. I mean, the world is trying to now acknowledge our emotions as men. The fact that we have testosterone doesn't mean that we don't have vulnerabilities, you see. So, and we are getting better. We'll definitely get there. But in the meantime, I want to appreciate everyone again. I want to especially appreciate our CEO, Ambassador Wilson Agboti. Thank you, sir, for coming up with this initiative. I've been learning a lot, right? This is my niche. You see, I'm a mental health advocate, and this is what I do in various African communities. So anytime subject or topic like this is being mentioned, I'm pretty much passionate about it. I am quick to, learn. I've been noting some things and all that so that I can know how I can better serve communities, people of various culture and backgrounds. Okay, so what I just want to say or chip in quickly is that social media, the social media space, it's a good one. But then we should know that in as much it's a good tool for connection, learning, and networking, it also creates unhealthy pressure for men, actually. Because sometimes men will see posts about financial success, luxury lifestyles, fitness achievement. I can say this because I've been in that shoes, right? so it is relatable. I'm not saying something that it's only a woman. It's something that I, as a man, I have been through, I have faced, especially if you're a young person and you're trying to make meaning out of life, you see. So sometimes all of these things, of course, may not be targeted towards a particular individual, but over time, this can create feelings of inadequacy and make men question their own progress. And we can, all of these things that, oh, am I even doing it well? Am I working well? Am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right track? And all of those things. So I feel like social media, we should be able to balance, yes, the use of social media. It's crazy nowadays. It's much more crazy. And I think it's going to be crazier than this because of there are new perks coming up in the tech and IT space, you see. So, well, any other thing I would have loved to talk about has been discussed. So I just want to reiterate that it is important that there is a work and life balance for men's mental health. You cannot kill yourself. You see, sometimes I used to think about something very funny, that it's when I came to this world, I know that this person, I'm identified with this person as my brother, as my sister, as my parent, you see. Before I came to this world, I didn't know any of these people. And we didn't come to this world together. And as much I want to be very affectionate, and because of I'm a humanitarian myself, I tell myself that we all have different roles to play in life. I cannot allow some people to suppress me to a point that I lose my own life. What will I tell God? No, I won't allow myself to be in that space. And I came to this realization after I've been so much pressured by so many people's needs around me. All right, I'm not saying we should be indifferent about people around us, but then let us know that there should be a balance. There should be a balance of our own personal needs. There should be a balance of work to life. And when we need to take vacation, come on, it's a beautiful word. Take some vacation. You don't have to break the bank. You can go to some nice places, even in the country. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much for your contribution, sir. We really appreciate that. I think I should take some questions. I'm seeing some questions in the comment section. Someone asked, if a man is expected to be the provider, protector, and a problem solver, who is responsible for protecting the mental health of the protector? So I'm throwing this question to anyone that would like to answer.
Please, can we have the question again, please? I didn't get that, please. Sorry.
If a man is expected to be the provider, protector, and problem solver, who is responsible for protecting the mental health of the protector? Mr. Wilson, please.
All right. Thank you, moderator, for giving me the mic once again. Thank you, everyone, for your input so far. So yeah, I mean, it still boils down to the provider, the protector, and the leader as well. Okay, the society has this responsibility, yes, to protect the man. The family has that responsibility, like we have been highlighting, to protect the man as well. The workplace has the responsibility to protect the man. But most importantly, the man has the control to protect himself better. Why I'm saying this is the same expectation that you are expected to provide, protect, and lead. Okay? Now, don't allow that expectations to outweigh your own health, because it's only when you are healthy that you can provide, you can protect, and you can lead. So when you now allow the expectations, the societal norms, or whatever the responsibility is on you, and then you pay less attention to also protecting your own mental health, then that's where the problem lies from. So when you say, okay, because I'm meant to do this, 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 but you can only do that when you are functional, when you are productive. So how do you have to now create that balance? If this is so, we are talking about this now because society has been so stereotyped that the other parties that are supposed to protect the man are not really seeing it, that the man needs protection. And that's why we are doing what we are doing here, advocacy, enlightenment, and all of that. But the man actually needs the protection from that same context that created those responsibilities. But most importantly, if it's not coming, the man shouldn't break down. The man should now know how to sit back and moderate and know what exactly are the responsibility I can shadow and which one affects my health and my good being. So that's what I want to just add up to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I think I'll go to another question. I can see a previous question. I don't believe it's been spoken about. I think he said seeking help is strength, but we are in a world where people would gossip about one's problem being shared. What would a man do in this case when help is being sought, but the problem is used as gossip? Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, go ahead, sir. Sir, your hands are raised. Okay, I think Mr. Wilson's network might be bad. Is there anyone that would like to take this question? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. So the
Okay,
question. Okay, go ahead, sir.
I got the question. Yes, it has to do with what other people will say, gossips and all of that.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, I will use myself as a case study. A few years ago, when I was younger than this, I used to be worried about what people might think of what I do. Trust me, that is number one joy killer. That is one aspect that steals the happiness of every man. So yeah, and like by the time you are able to work on yourself and realize that at this point it's all about you, it's all about how you live your life, it's all about careless about what people will say. That means you start living your own life and adjusting yourself to the betterment of yourself. Yes. So when you are more as a woman, you are looking at the area of gossip. People will gossip. If I tell this person, he will tell another person, then you will not have a confidence. I'm not saying you should tell your problem or your issues to everybody because we live in a crazy society, yes. But then again, there should be one or two persons you can actually trust on, and you should be able to say it out. And when you say this things out, you get some sort of relief because either way, the conversation will be straight, and you'll be able to get some insight from that person you are telling than when you are holding it onto yourself and it's burning you. And it's just like Mr. Ambassador Osborne said, it will not be replaying in your head. So have one or two persons you should be able to to confide on, and careless. Eventually it goes out or whatever they say. Careless. It's about you. It's about you and who you know you are. It's not about what people say you are. Okay. So that fear of gossip has always been what cages men into a situation where they cannot say what is in their mind, and then you end up doing what you don't want to do because you are scared of gossip. At the end of the day, you are suppressing yourself, you're suppressing your emotions, which needs to be aired out, and then is affecting your mental health. So that is one angle we need to consider, having to moderate and having to know that, okay, what people really say doesn't actually care, doesn't matter about yourself. It's about what you do with your life. It's about the impact you make. It's about how well you live your life. And it's about learning from your mistakes. So if you're worried about gossip, then you are living a life that is more like a fake life. You are trying to be someone that you are not because you are scared. And even in the Bible, they say when you conquer your fear, you will grow. The fear is one setback that even in the Bible, you have to work on yourself. You are encouraging the Holy Book to conquer your fear. So this fear of gossip, or they will say, is another thing that will hinder you from healing, when it comes to emotional, mental stress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. David Adebanjo, Mr. David.
All
you
right.
Can take.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, Ambassador Wilson. I just want to chip this into talk is cheap. Talk is actually cheap. Anybody can say anything, but that doesn't define you. Just like how the birds in the sky, they fly, free will, okay? But then we can actually stop those birds or avoid these birds from perching on our heads. So you can also determine whether these words people will speak will get to you. That's it. How do you respond? Do you act or react to it? You see, so yeah, I know that sometimes just people can say hurting words, but it is when you tell that person, or you tell yourself rather, that this word is going to hurt you. That is when you allow it to hurt you. You see, so people can gossip, people can do anything, and they have been doing it right before you were born. They will do it while we live this world. Where we live, they will continue. I mean, that's it. Everyone has mouth to say whatever they can, or they really feel they can't say. All right, but then just like what Ambassador Wilson what he has said, you need to define yourself, value who you are, your purpose, whatever, all of these things that make you. So you should not live fake life. You should not try to impress everybody. I want to impress this, so I want to. Then their words are not getting to you. No, 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 no. People who don't stand for something fall for anything. I'm going to say that again. People who don't stand for something, they fall for anything. So you need to take a stand and don't let anything pull you down. You see, yes, sometimes we need to tell people what we are going through. Something happened to me some time ago. I was very disappointed. But the more I kept it to myself, the more hurt I felt, the more terrible I felt about the situation. So you know what I did? I had to talk to someone. I texted some people, like 2, 3 different persons. This. I'm not saying you should do anything, but I just want to tell you. And afterwards, I felt good. I felt very good because I knew that I needed to just say it. And just texting made me feel good. And I texted in such a way that I didn't want them to call me and start pitying me. No, no, no. But the way I expressed myself just made me feel good. So sometimes we just need some people, good people around us. And whatever they say still do not define us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that contribution. Jennifer, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. And happy Father's Day to every father figure, every man in the house. We are celebrated. We see you. We love you all. And we are grateful for you. So for this segment, I don't know if I would call this an addition, or maybe there are some questions in it, but I will basically term it an addition for now. And it's about how society sees men, and what I think would actually also help in curbing the societal pressure that comes from being a man, and how they are celebrated and all of that. Let's say how men often say society doesn't see me, society doesn't care about my struggles. And if we stop for a minute, if we ask ourselves, who is society? Society is me. Society is you. Society is the guy we see it's society is all of us here at this webinar. Society is basically us, like we are society. You, me, the people sitting next to us, we are society. And I feel like the real reason men feel invisible is not because society is inherently cruel to men. It's because men refuse to validate themselves, and as they refuse to validate each other. In the case of celebration, they wait for women to celebrate them because some have been raised to think that celebrating themselves is either arrogant or too girly, and they don't want to be associated with being too girly. If a woman posts a picture of herself, she gets like compliments. And, even from men, they are like, oh, really nice because it's a woman. And then when a man does it, he's either being mocked or, they would maybe tease, or um, nobody gets to either celebrate it, you know. We want men to be vulnerable. But then when a man cries out, he's termed as being weak, because of course still society, we as society, because let's for this segment, or rather for this particular um part of what I'm saying, we are society. If men want society to recognize them, then I think they must first start recognizing themselves. Men need to learn to accept having support groups. There's something about women and women friendships where it's really very attached. Women can easily be vulnerable with each other, and I don't think I see a lot of that with men. Men don't let themselves be vulnerable with each other because they easily tease the man next to them about who is braver, who is stronger. And all of this is from how they've lived to think a strong man cannot be vulnerable. He can't show weakness. He's not supposed to show any form of weakness or anything. It's something that has been put in men, say from, of course, growing up in most cases, which is something that now we need as parents, we need to, work on, to raise our sons to know that they can be vulnerable, and they should be vulnerable. They should allow themselves to, be able to speak. They should have people that they can, speak to without thinking that makes them weak. Men don't have to outsource their self-worth. You don't have to wait for your partner, your boss, your parents, to recognize your wins, to celebrate you before you celebrate yourself. And in the case of today being Father's Day, even there are on a good number of on. Let me even take, for instance, my own say WhatsApp. A whole lot of people that celebrated that posted Happy Father's Day came from women celebrating their brothers, their fathers, their husbands, their partners. A few men, just a few. The rest of them, they are not celebrating it. Like, it's almost like they are not. And some might feel like maybe because they think that makes them look like they are weak, so they don't want to engage in self-celebration, which is a part where women are statistically more likely to engage in. Women are more likely to engage in that. We post our achievements, give ourselves a nice treat, you understand. And I get that it's maybe because it has socially been permitted to do so for women, as opposed to men, since men don't do that. And basically, what I'm trying to say is, if men are not celebrating, if as a man you're not celebrating the man next to you and he's not celebrating you, you are the society that is failing you. You're the society failing yourself at that point. Because if you are not allowing yourself you're not celebrating yourself, you're not celebrating the man next to you, you're not encouraging men to also celebrate themselves. It's a trap. It's a vulnerability trap you've been placed, you've placed yourself. If you see that as maybe a feminine trait, or you just don't have the courage for it yet. Today I would or rather, I would end this to encourage us and the men in the house, to also encourage them to also be able to encourage other men around them to learn to show up, without the armor, without that the need to box yourself. Like your strength comes from when you have to act tough, and don't be vulnerable, don't be soft, because you don't want to be talked, or you don't want to be mocked by other men, or seen like you're maybe too proud, or you're trying to show yourself too much. Talk about like trying to be socially posting yourself and all of that. I want to encourage men to allow that part of them to come out, to be more vulnerable, to celebrate themselves, and if possible, even for the next couple days, to even challenge yourself, to post yourself, take that selfie, put it out there, post your achievement, even if it's looking as if it's a girly thing. It's not a girly thing. That's how women have been able to celebrate themselves all these years, and that's how we've been able to get the audience we have that celebrating women, because we intentionally do it for ourselves, to also encouragement to stop with the teasing. If you have friends that when a friend posts a win, or posts something, or post a photo of themselves, you joke around with it and make them feel like that's not something they are supposed to do, or make them feel like that's why they post yourself every day like that. Only you, how many pictures is not too much? All of those kinds of things that will make somebody to want to go back into a box and put themselves in a shell, and generally to just stop asking for permission to show up for yourselves, to value yourself as much, so, and that way everybody around you value you. I don't think, or rather I would end this by saying, let's not put it like men are victims of society. At this point, you're architects of it. Start building a society where men are allowed to be human. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was an amazing one. I would like to call on, I think that's not his name, but he said it's Kaduna. If your
Yes,
description.
the name there is Kaduna UK, Kaduna Ukaria. But
Okay,
actually, that's my name is Reverend Dennis Emmanuel. I'm using my wife's this thing to log in.
okay, you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, so I was not at the beginning of the discussion, but I think the discussion is a very interesting one from what I have gathered. As we celebrate Father's Day, one of the things that make some men not to participate in some issues that have to do with society, some issues that has to do with fathers, is because actually we as Black people, we don't know how to celebrate each other. Sometimes when you meet with your former classmate, you want to ask, hey, what have you been doing? How is life with you? If your classmate didn't tell you, or your former friends or something didn't tell you, I am now a lawyer, I'm now a doctor, I'm now a this, sometimes we look at them as life has been so tough for them. I remember one of the, and we don't seem to want to measure them like up to our class, and so we see them as people of lower classes. I think that is not too palatable for men, and that's why some men they keep themselves reserved. But I remember, I can't remember whether on this platform, in our platform or other platform, I saw a story of somebody was giving a story of one young man who opted out of their school classmate platform. Why? Because their classmates discovered that one of their prefects that time, one of the most brilliant guy that time in their school, was now selling things, hawking things on the street. And they were making mockery of him. And that annoyed him, and he got out of that platform. only for him to visit the guy in that place and discover that that guy was actually doing well. That video that portrayed him as selling on the road was not the true picture of who he truly was. He was actually patronizing the road with, he was actually selling things, advertising some of his product, and people saw him that he was struggling. So only for people who encounter him physically discover he was actually a millionaire who was already building life. But he was not a lawyer. He was not a doctor. He was not a military officer. He's just a one small young man struggling, making ends meet. Now, such people in our own district, men, most time, we don't celebrate such kind of people unless we hear they are governors, they are this. But if we can celebrate one another, look, do you know that there is some, I don't want to mention name, but there are people that are loved in this country because of their humility. Talk about the Hausas. Talk about some Muslims. They are very humble. They can participate like a delivering boy and some other things like this. For example, let me tell you something. Do you know how much a shoe shine gain every day? Whenever he buys a polish, how much is a polish? It's 1,000 naira. And how much do you polish your shoe?
Between 300 to 500. Some places 200.
You know that you are better than somebody who works in the government. Somebody who stays in the office and collect money. But because he doesn't stay in one big office, we don't recognize such people and we don't celebrate them. And such kind of people, when they stay with ordinary people, he feel uncomfortable. And sometimes, some of us who are ahead in education, when I sit down close to doctors, medical doctors, lawyers, they speak big grammars. And me, who have just finished secondary school, tell me what I'm going to speak. Even if I have the idea, I have to just keep quiet because I have to. But if those who know how to speak good grammars, we know how to take those who who don't speak good grammars. If we know how to celebrate each other by carrying each other along, then you will see there will be harmony. One thing I like with some part of the people, some group of people that I know is that no matter who you are, even if you are Dangurugu, even if you have one leg, even if your duty is to say kola nut, you still are their brother. How many of us, how many of us can really appreciate somebody for doing something small?
So sorry, sir, your network. Sorry, sir, are you still there? Reverend, are you still there? Okay, I think his network is bad. Let's give him a minute. Okay, I can see that the network actually kicked him out, unfortunately. And we really appreciate his contribution. I can say that I'm sure everyone really enjoyed his session and the very valuable points he shared. Is there anyone else that would like to share or ask questions?
All right, let me just ask a question. And this question goes to those who are who are in a top position or who occupy a leadership, a managerial position, whether in government, in a private organization, multinational organization, all of those things. So my question is, how do these people manage their mental health? How do they, what are the activities? I don't know if we have people like that in this on this call so that they can give us insight. We can learn also from them. It could be like there's something specific they keep doing. Maybe some of them will just go out and take a stroll. Maybe some of them will just eat something, maybe a leaf or something. I don't know. But how do they manage situations that are very, demanding and, based on the kind of work they do and ensure an optimal mental health? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wilson, please take the mic.
Thank you. Because of timing, let me just see how I can address this question and the other question that has to do with ideal man. So Mr. David, how they manage this question, I think I have a practical answer for you on that. 2 days ago, I was having a quick chat with one of my bosses. You guys knew her, Julie Lilly. She was at our event. She was one of the key speakers in our inaugural assembly. The lady from the US, the World Citizen Peace Director. So I was chatting up with her and we got talking. And she was like, "Wilson, I'm gonna go for a break for a few days. I need to go and recharge with nature." That's the word, recharge with nature. I picked interest. I'm like, wow, what do you mean recharge in nature? She said, you have to do these things, if you must lead and if you must manage. She's one of the leading directors of World Citizen Peace, a global body that promotes 5 peace actions across the globe. So that is already a hectic leadership, a high level, high profile leadership position she's occupying. And then she is a PhD student in Arizona State University, USA. She's resuming school next month or thereabout, after some she's resuming school, and then she felt like she's been doing a lot from the leadership, from the managing the organization, and then studies and all those. And their studies is not like ours that you have to maneuver, you have to do what you need to do. So she felt like at this point she needs to revive her energy, she needs to rejuvenate. And how do they do it? What they do is that they make out time and they don't joke with it. If a Westerner tells you that I'm off work, he's off work. They don't play with it. But here we don't prioritize our health. We just want to be working and working and working. We want to be at everything. We don't want to rest. When you are even on break, you don't put your emails on the off office work, and you're on break, but you're literally not on break. So these are the things they do that is different from what we do here. They don't joke with that. So, and that recharging to nature, she's just gonna either go to a beach, go to a forest, go to somewhere that she can relate with nature. And you will see that when she's back, she will have broader strength. She will have broader strength, to do other things. So I think that is one strategy we should also imbibe, and that taught me a lot. And I'm like, okay, I can go and recharge with nature as well. Even within Nigeria, I don't need to travel out or spend a lot of money to get that. Then, as regards the other question that has to do with ideal man, who raised that question? I don't know. But that is another societal pressure. There's no such thing as ideal man. Get that into your understanding of life. Ideal man is who you are. Ideal man is what you do for humanity. Ideal man is that morality that your parents instill in you. Ideal man is you knowing right from wrong, knowing wrong from right. Don't allow pressure or society to say you are not ideal because you don't drive a Range Rover. You're not ideal because you don't take your wife on a vacation. That is all stereotype pressures. There is no such thing like that, but just look inward yourself. Assess yourself like Jennifer says. Give yourself the flower if you have to. Know what you are doing for the humanity, for your family, for your work. Respect and appreciate your input. Don't undermine yourself. It's only when you are doing and you're not seeing what you are doing, you are trying to be that ideal man for another person. And that is where the pressure will come into place. Because you will not appreciate the little you are doing for humanity, for the society. And then you are looking toward being an ideal man, quote unquote, and there's nothing like that. Today, we have a president, for instance, there are some people that will tell you that I can't marry this president. He can't be my husband. But is he not president? He's the commander-in-chief. He has everything. So you see, he's not ideal to some other persons. So there's nothing like ideal man. It's just a scam. Let me use that word. It's a stereotype that is eating us men like cancer. Okay, so just know your rights, know what you are up to, and do within your reach. The one you can't do, shut down, say this one I can't do. I'm not trying to be, if I'm not ideal because I'm not able to do this one, no problem. Move on. So that is the word about, I want to say concerning that ideal. There's nothing called ideal man in this reality of things. But you know, you tend to just, all you just have to do is sit back and always reassess yourself, evaluate yourself. Where was I last year and where am I this year? Where am I going next year? You know, these are just things that will guide you as human, and then you will not feel that pressure of trying to be someone's ideal man when you are actually mentally affected by that notion. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. And I really want to appreciate everybody, all the participants, the keynote speakers, experts, presenters, our partners, our CIA members, and everyone that has spoken, shared, asked questions today. It has been really an amazing session. So today's conversation really reminds us that men's mental health really matters, and seeking support is a sign of strength and not weakness. So at this point, I would like to invite our chief convener, SDG Ambassador Wilson Babalivida, to kindly give a closing remark and vote of thanks. Mr. Wilson, please take the mic.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you, able moderator. I've said a lot today, and I'm sure all of us have shared a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of take home. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for honoring this and for coming at this event. We're going to be doing more of stuff like this, especially when it's the one that concerns that we know we can within ourselves help ourselves to be, good, to be healthy, and also to be productive. I want to thank you, but before I leave, I just want to play a particular song for us, just 1 minute or two, so we can relax after all these things we have been talking. So please just pay attention to this, just for 2 minutes. Men struggle daily. Men find it hard to express themselves. Men hold everything in until they implode and end themselves. The expectations on a man are so high. To work hard, got to provide, got to stay strong, got to get by. Gotta make sure everyone in the family have their time. But when it's the end of the line, and people are wondering why that men end their life, maybe it's time to ask, were there any signs, or did we just think everything would be fine? Because he's a man stands tall for all to see, puts a smile on his face, shows every little misery. It's a the suicide rates are so high. It's now time for the man to show his deep hidden emotions and allow themselves to cry. To cry. Oh, to cry. Stand by a man's side and tell him it's fine. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I just dropped the title of the song. It's by Ash Walker. You just tell him it's fine. That's the title of the song. And I'm sure you guys will relate to it when you listen to it again. Thank you. And please stay safe, stay healthy, stay alive, own your life. And please, we need you all in good peace. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a really amazing one. That was a really nice one. I'm going to take the time to go and listen to that song again. I really loved it. On behalf of Community Impact Affinity, I thank everyone once again for attending today's webinar. Let us continue to support men, encourage healthy conversation, and promote mental health well-being in our families, our workplace, and in our communities. And I wish you all a pleasant evening and a meaningful Father's Day celebration. Thank you and God bless you all. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you and good night, everyone. I appreciate you all, the admin, the IT guys. Thank you all.